morning, everybody. Hey, this is Chris with Paratravelers, and welcome to Getaway Game Sports and my episode today. This is going to be a crazy episode, so let's talk about our sponsors first, all right? We have Liquid Nitro Energy Drink. It's only the best. No jitters, no crash. Kind of nice, kind of fun. Try it out, let me know. Also, Paratravelers, that's PERATRAVELERS.net. Go to paratravelers.net so I can set you up on a lavish vacation somewhere around the world, on the water, in the air, wherever you want to go. Next, Health Sent Heaven Bent Gear. That's www.hshbgear.com, as well as Styles with a Z apparel.com. Get your ladies phenomenal, beautiful apparel, folks. Okay? So, now that we got that out, I went on another podcast, Married to Sports podcast. Great group of guys. If you haven't checked out Brandon Corey and the Hot Rod himself, folks, you should. Okay? Great podcast. Love talking sports. Love having fun and going from there. All right? Now, I went off on a tirade, and here's why. So, there are injuries upon injuries upon injuries. Did I say injuries? Because I meant injuries in the NFL. And tonight, the Niners play the Rams. And I just caught this because I was at work. And I wanted to go on a tirade again, I know, on my podcast. So here we go. The Niners have out, as we already know, Ayuk and Bosa, right? Now, Jennings is out. Now, Pearsall is out. We all know Kittle is out. And now Purdy's out. Are you effing kidding me? Now, some of these injuries could not be avoided. Let's just be straightforward first and foremost there. Okay? But I got to tell you, you ready? Because here it comes. This is definitely a moment that the NFLPA is going to want to get away. All right? So, I wrote down a few notes here. You know me. Me and my notes. And the NFLPA, got to tell you, I'm really disappointed. And here's why. How many of you have actually read the CBA? That thing's a pain in the ass, by the way. All legalese and all that kind of good stuff. I read the portions of practice, okay? It's pages, practice, and what else? There's something else in there, and I'll look it up in just a minute. But it starts on the CBA on page 161, which you can look up online, just in case anybody wants to know. And it goes through 170, 171, page 171. And, I'm going to take all this information and I'm going to bring it down to this. So here we go. You ready? Because I am. So, yesterday, my tirade was Monday. Yesterday, I saw John Gruden go off. And I was kind of like, all right, cool. So somebody's kind of on the same page that I am here. Okay? But first, I want to talk about a quote that Floyd Mayweather said on a podcast to, I don't know if the guy was a bodybuilder or what he was, so excuse me there. And it was a quick little blurb. And Floyd Mayweather looked this guy in the eye. They were talking about fighting. And the guy said, oh, I'm bigger than you. I'm like 6'4", 1,275 pounds, purely yoked muscle and all that kind of good stuff. And the guy said, oh, I would whip your ass in a fight. Floyd Mayweather, we know Floyd Mayweather is like 125-0, the cockiest SOB out there. But he brought out a great point, folks. Okay? Bear with me a minute here. He looked this Jamoke dead in the eye and goes, you know what? I would destroy you. And the guy's all cocky. No, you wouldn't. He goes, oh yeah. And I'm probably going to get this mixed up, so just bear with me, but the point is there. He goes, I would destroy you. How many times have you been hit, let's just say, in the last year? The guy's all, none. Floyd Mayweather goes, well, I've been hit quite a few times, and I'm not even boxing anymore, just training, getting loose. He goes, one thing you need to know is I train to get hit and to hit others. So I'm used to it. And I don't care if I get hit or not. You, on the other hand, are not used to it. You're not used to getting hit. You're not used to taking that shot. You're not used to firing back. I would destroy you. And when Floyd Mayweather said that, it made me start to think, okay, about the NFL. So I started looking up the CBA. Yeah, I know. Freaking dork. I get it. Looking up the CBA, I saw a couple of things that I'm freaking absolutely perplexed about, to be quite honest. And then I'm going to go on another squirrel, so hold on. So in the CBA, you got blah, 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 blah. You can't wear a freaking sock over your left ankle without it being your team, stupid stuff like that, obviously. But this was one thing that I was really, really disappointed in. Okay? In the CBA, it states in a roundabout way, please understand this, all the legalese, this is what I took from it, that you can only practice in pads once a week, 2.5 hours a day for 11 weeks. After the first 11 weeks, you can only do it 4 or 5 more times. Sorry, I can't remember the exact number. And I sat there and I went, how in the hell are these athletes going to not get injuries? Let's think about this for a minute. Okay, so now here's my squirrel moment. Okay? And I know everybody's going to go, oh God, rolling their eyes and thinking it's ridiculous. But I want to bring this up. Wrestlers, yes, allegedly it's all fake. But I don't know too many people that can jump off of a 10-foot fence, land on their back, and pop back up 3 or 4 minutes later. Do you? Please let me know. I'm waiting. Yeah, no. No. Nobody out there can do that. So, think about this. Your body needs to train to get hit. Okay? These guys are wrestling 365 days a year. They're in the gym, so on and so forth. Do you think their body is being conditioned to get hit, and be able to properly take a hit? Absolutely. Now, I want you to take this into account. In the NFL, you got one practice, 2.5 hours a week. You're allowed to quasi-hit. All right? Do you guys see this? Now, the other times you're not in pads. You're only in helmets, and I think one practice you're not in helmets. Every day they should have at least a little bit of hitting for a couple hours. So they get used to it. They get that feel. They get that touch. They get that. If you look and break down all the positions, and when I mean all the positions, I mean your linemen, your defensive linemen, your tight ends, your receivers, your DBs, your linebackers, your edge rushers. And we can break that down into position by position, your Wills, your Mikes, your edge rushers, your D tackles, your strong safety, your free safety, so on and so forth. And your special teams. What have we been noticing? Special teams has sucked. Kickers are horrendous. I'm just saying. And there's a little tidbit in there about kickers and how much they can kick. Are you kidding me? Then you go back to the 2.5 hours. Let's break that down. If you break that down per 22 positions, let's just say, in 2.5 hours, what do you break that down to? I'm going to math that for you just in case. So 2.5 hours is going to be 60, 120 minutes, 120 minutes, and 30 is what, 150 minutes, right? So let's break that down. 150 minutes divided by 22 positions. And that's just on the field at that moment in time. We're not talking about kickers, long snappers, holders, so on and so forth. Okay? Do we got that? Beautiful. That comes out to, you guys see that? You see that? 6.818 minutes per position. How is a kicker, I'm just going to go with kicker, supposed to get a good feel with pads on, helmet on, a good rush coming at him in practice to make all these longer extra points, all these field goals? There's no doubt in my mind why I can't stand Moody and why he missed so many kicks now. And why you're seeing so much penetration up the middle from the defense. And why punts are being blocked, field goals are being blocked, field goals are being missed. Returns on punts are getting a little bit better. Kickoffs, we're starting to see more movement up the field. How are you supposed to take 6.81 or 6.18 minutes per position and be effective? You can't. Not only that, but how do these guys not get injured? Not hitting each other, not feeling that pressure, that force. Just that, period. Because like I said in one of my other podcasts, everybody's anatomy is different. Okay? Do we all understand that? Now, if my anatomy is different than your anatomy, and my anatomy is hitting your anatomy, whose anatomy is going to win? And whose anatomy is going to get injured in the long run? Because they're not having that force or that feel or getting their body customized to getting hit. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. You're not. And I think this is the reason why we're seeing so many more injuries, so many more pulls, so many more contact injury, more, oblique muscle pulls and all that kind of good stuff. I truly do think this is the reason why we're seeing more of this. Because back in the, let's just be honest, I know 100 years ago, and I'm bringing it up, 70s, 80s, 90s, early 2000s, all the way up to 2010, we were seeing injuries, don't get me wrong, but we weren't seeing as many as we are now. But remember, it's the injury protocol, and we're trying to make the game safer. You're not. NFLPA, you're not making the game safer. You got that? You are making it more dangerous for these multi-million-dollar investments that the players have in them and the NFLPA. Let's be honest, you guys are getting a union due, so you guys are making money. So NFLPA, How are you going to take care of your paying union members? Because you're not. And you're supposed to be. You're supposed to be taking care of them, covering them, making sure that they're taken well care of. They're not. Now, somebody said the other day to me that, well, there were this many injuries back in when, the 80s, 70s, 80s, 90s, early. I'm like, no, there wasn't. And they looked it up and they're like, oh my God, you're right. And I go, here it is. Do we still see the knee injuries? Yeah. Do we still see did we see so many career ending injuries back in the 70s, 80s, 90s? Well, yeah. I mean, somebody would have a MCL, ACL blown out and they were done. Technology has gotten to the point to where it's so much better that ACL tear, no big deal. MCL tear, no big deal. You'll be back in a year. ICL, meniscus, so on and so forth. I mean, I've seen guys have surgery and be back on the field in 3 weeks. Blows my mind, to be quite honest. But I get that competitive edge. I get that competitive feel. If those juices are flowing, you want to go and hit somebody. You want to get on that field. You want to do what's best for your team. Sometimes not what's best for you. But now we're starting to see the injuries climb. And the 49ers have, for tonight's game out, obviously I talked about this, Ayuk. We all know that. Kittle. Bosa. 2 of those 3 completely done for this. Well, let me rephrase that. Not completely done for the season, but Ayuk is out. We don't know, maybe week 9, week 10. Bosa done till next year. Kittle allegedly supposed to come back next week. You got Juwan Jennings, who got freaking drilled, ribs injuries. You got Purdy, who's toe, which he shouldn't have come back last week. That's my opinion. Should have waited another week. That's all I got to say. But apparently Mac Jones had a slight knee injury. And then Ricky Pearsall. This kid cannot catch a freaking break, by the way. He's got an injury, so he is ruled out. Are you kidding me? 6 players? Wow. We had no pressures last week, QB pressures on Trevor Lawrence, and his O-line is not the greatest. They're a lot better than they were last year, I will say that. But now just take that core right there, the 6 that I just talked about in injuries. You have season enders to, little snags. Now multiply that by, 32 teams? If each team has a couple of season enders, few little naggers, guys in and out of the lineup, hold on, let me get my calculator out, okay? And I'm just using 6 as a figure, all right, everybody? So stand by. 6 times 32 equals, that's 192 athletes. That's 192 investments in and out of the lineup or completely out of the lineup. Think about that for a minute. So that CBA goes from March of 2020 to March of 2031, if I'm not mistaken. Don't quote me on that because I brain cramped for a second there. How is the NFLPA and the NFL going to get better? Because less isn't more, and that's what they thought. Less hitting means more time on the field? No. Less hitting means even worse time on the field, it seems like, because everybody is getting injured. Kind of sad. What would be your top 3 items for the NFLPA and the NFL to agree on to make player safety better? I pose that question to you. I'd like to thank everybody for watching Getaway Game Sports. Please, please, please leave your comments down below I want your opinions, and I want them on this especially. Do we understand that? Again, thank you all. Thank you for joining me at Getaway Game Sports. I hope you guys have a great day. It's Thursday night football, Niners Rams. Let's go!